We'll dive right into it. I said this is the definition of chasing your own tail. I made some notes here in a little segment I like to call reading for the story. In the summer of 2005, pre my wife and pre our daughter and all of that, when I was the young and single version of myself, that summer really stood out to me, and it stood out to me for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is I was finally in a job where I was making enough money to have my own apartment, and I had friends, and it was great. And I had fun every night. But one of the reasons it sticks out to me is that looking back, I was always looking for something better during that summer. I was going out 4-5 nights a week, which in Green Bay is considered light. That's light duty. And I was trying to outdo the night before, not just trying to get drunker than the night before, but whatever experience I had, whatever positive I had that night, whether it was just maybe meeting a friend at a bar and watching a basketball game and having a few beers, I was trying to capture that feeling and more every single day after that. And then I'd get to the next fun moment, and I was trying to relive and recapture that magic and grow that exponentially every single time. And I would date a girl, and in my head, I was like, hey, this is exactly kind of what I was looking for at the time. Again, I was in my mid-20s, and it was like, no, it's not, because I want more. I want something else, or that if that moment wasn't as good as what I wanted or what was previously, then I was trying to chase the next thing. And I skipped out on my friends a lot of times because I was chasing the next thing. I had fun with them one time, but then there was a shiny new object over here and the potential promise of a better night, and I would leave my really good friends behind and I would go do something else with someone else because that's what I was chasing. So in the middle of all of that, I moved from Green Bay, Wisconsin to Chicago, and that really changed the dynamic for me because I went from having my circle of friends, and I knew everything. I knew everywhere to go. I knew all the bars. I knew all the bartenders. I knew all of that, to moving to Chicago, which I absolutely love, just still my favorite city. But I didn't know anybody. And in my head, my way to circumvent that or combat that was I was so focused on really wanting to get like a cool apartment, like a really nice apartment. I ended up getting one way, way more of an apartment that I needed. And it was north of the city. I was in Evanston, which is a good 15 miles north of downtown Chicago. And 15 miles in Chicago is, it's basically a day trip. So it was a long ways away from Chicago. But I thought somehow that me having a cool apartment would sort of manifest friends and women and, wow, Justin, you're so cool and all of this, or whatever I thought in my head. All it did really was leave me alone most of the time, 15 miles north of the city. And I'm, again, one of the best cities of the country. Great food, great sports. In the summertime, you cannot ask for a better city with things to do. The beach on Lakeshore Drive, festivals every other day, outdoor concerts all the time. And I was focused on trying to create the cool guy with a cool apartment kind of thing, that I put myself out of pocket for a lot of that stuff. And I missed out on a lot of things. Number one, because I couldn't afford a lot of stuff now. And number two, because I was so far north that I just was kind of out of the orbit of friends calling me or texting me or whatever, because I was so far that he's not going to be able to make it because it's a 40-minute train ride. And I missed so many good things. So then, bear with me, I moved to Dallas, and guess what? I had a roommate. Cool. I knew some people that I moved with our company, and now I went from in Green Bay trying to chase the next best thing, in Chicago trying to be the cool guy with the apartment and the car, or whatever that was, and now in Dallas, I was trying to be Mr. In Shape guy. So my Green Bay, Chicago, and now Dallas. I'm focusing on the wrong thing, 3 separate things. But I kind of love the hilarity of this and how ironic this is. I moved to Dallas, and I was so focused on being in shape that I routinely now skipped out on all those things that I was chasing. The happy hours, the nights out with friends, the going to games, doing all that kind of stuff. Because I was so focused on, I don't want to have the extra calories. And I need to be in shape because that's what that's what's going to attract women to me, and that's how I'm going to get a girlfriend, and that's how I'm going to get the feeling of belonging and the feeling of my ego getting boosted and all that is I need to be in shape. And then what ended up happening is, well, it's kind of hard to have women find you attractive if you're sitting on your couch every weekend instead of going out. But I was fooling myself for a variety of reasons, but one of them was what I was doing to sabotage myself is I was putting so much pressure on myself to eat so strict all week long and work out, an hour a night or more, 5-6 days a week. And then by the time the weekend showed up, I was just out of gas. I'm starving because I'm not having a balanced, healthy relationship with food and a healthy diet. And when I say diet, I don't mean like diet. I mean diet as in the food that I'm intaking. And what would I do? I would go grab takeout and I would stuff my face and sit on the couch and then get upset at myself because I just sabotaged a week's worth of progress, but it wasn't really progress. And then I would redouble my efforts and then rinse and repeat. And then once in a while I would go out and have drinks, but I was so focused on wanting to be in shape. And I never got there, by the way. Like I was never in great shape. I never had a six pack. I never, whatever. And that's fine. But I was so focused on all of the wrong things. And I missed all of those great years. I missed out on so much stuff in my mid to late 20s and early 30s when I finally had enough money to kind of do my own thing. And I finally had, some wherewithal and I could go have some fun. I missed out on so many things. And it taught me just the most valuable lesson.